Hello and welcome to another Blender recap video. And in this one, we're going to take a look at armatures in Blender. And I'm just going to show the basics of how to use bones, add them to mesh, and how you can kind of use it to move the mesh. So let's begin. Let's go here and turn on screencast keys. Right, there we go. Okay, so now we have, we're going to stick with our cube here this time. But what we're gonna do is press the S key to scale it, but we're gonna scale it in Z, and we're gonna press 2, and there you go. So now you have a nice, you know, rectangular prism. And what we're gonna do with this is go tab into edit mode. Hopefully tab. No, all right. Or there we go. Okay, just I guess deselect the object and then it goes there. Then we're gonna use the loop cut, and then place a cut right here. And generally, you can just use your scroll bar and increase the amount of loop cuts, or you can just go here as well. We're gonna put like 10 loop cuts. I think that's pretty good. um, and then yeah, you can there's a lot of settings here, how away you want the loop cuts to be and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot of options here, but generally this is pretty good. um, and one key thing to know, I would point out, is once you click out of this and go back into object mode, you cannot edit the amount of loop cuts you have done. So there's no way of going back. So this is something to be mindful of when you're working with the loop cut tool in Blender in edit mode. So yeah, we got our 10 loop cuts. So gonna go ahead and exit out of it. So yes, see, we can bring it back up, but the loop cuts are there. As if you click out of this, go into, see, the loop cuts are there. So perfect. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our first bone. So Shift A and go into armature, and you're like, where is it? So as you can see, now we have these new options here called bone and bone constraints. We're gonna click on this one, actually, data, for armatures, and then go to viewport display and click in front. And that's what we would ideally just want to have all the time when you're working with bones. So the bone is still in there, but then it just shows up in front in the viewport. It's easier for us to work with. Um, and what we're gonna try to do is, right, we're gonna have bones inside this mesh and make it kind of move. Um, and right now, if you see, we're gonna press like R and see if we can rotate. It only rotates the bone. Then when you select the bone, you have, instead of object edit, no, you also have the pose mode. And that's where you go in and do stuff. But yeah, look at that. Nothing happens. Our rectangular here doesn't move with it. So what we're gonna do is select the mesh. Oh, no, wait, let's go back. Hold up. Object. Select this. Shift select the bone. Then no, and then Control P. And then do you do with automatic weights? There are different options with empty groups and envelope weights, but generally, for our use, it's just gonna be with automatic weights. Simple. Um, so you did that. Now let's see what happens. Now you see the whole thing rotates with it. While this progress is not exactly what we're trying to achieve, but you get the idea that we had to parent it. But let's just Command Z back. Nope, not back enough. All right. No. All right, there we go. Perfect. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add more bones. And before that, I would like to kind of briefly mention here. These are like the different options here. You can have names, which this will be helpful later on, which I'll show you if you'd like. Some people who want to have more on it, so it's easier for them to track which bone they're working with. You can have like different shapes of bones: stick, B bone, envelope, wire. And in my experience, for most of what you're gonna do in this class, the octahedral, I believe, should be enough um, for your purpose. But yes, that's some of the options here. Um, so yeah, let's add more bones. So how we do that is go into edit mode. Actually, before that, let's go to object mode. Select this bone, and then I want to move it to the very bottom down here. So I'm gonna grab, move it in the Z, and something like that. But I don't know if it's like, directly below it. I ideally want directly below it. But in with this, you want bones sticking out, but I'm gonna have that sticking out up here once you add more bones. So not down here. I just want it like flush down there. So I'm gonna just go down here, do -2, and it's still I have feeling that it's sticking out. And I guess one quick way that I found out is turning off the in front, and then there you can see now it's like sticking out right there. So now I'll just grab it, move it in the Z ever so slightly above, and then turn back in front, and there you go. Now we know it's back out there and somewhat flush to the bottom. So now that we have that, we're gonna go into edit mode. You have the bone selected. We're gonna press the E key to extrude. We're gonna make another bone, and I'm gonna go right below that here. And I feel like this kind of makes another one similar of its size. And then I'm gonna do Shift R to do replicate that action again, and then now we'll have you know what, 4 more bones right above it. It's perfect. We have one sticking out like how we want to in armatures, as that makes it easier to you know do armatures with meshes. You don't want that in real life though. However, you don't want your bones sticking out of your body. Uh, so yeah, now that we got that, we're gonna go ahead and go into object mode. We have the let's select the mesh, select the bones, and then we'll do Control P, and then parent it with automatic weights. Now we'll go to pose mode, and then you can see hopefully it works. R x-axis, and there you go. Now we're able to use those bones to move our mesh. Pretty neat. As you can see, we can do different ones like that. And then this is just gonna move the whole thing. Um, but yeah, look at that. So you have that. It's pretty nice. But one thing that I would like to show, next thing I would like to show is now we're kind of moving them, but then maybe you want them to move each bone to have different, degrees of effect on how much the movement. In order to do that, we're gonna go ahead and select this mesh here, and then when you open up this option, and then we get this menu, you get the weight paint option. And what this shows is here is where if we go back real quick to object mode, select the bones, and then we turn on names, you have the different names show: bone 1, bone 0.1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So then we go here, select the mesh again, go into weight paint. Now you can kind of see like, okay, this is the bones I'm working with in which order. Makes it, for people, for beginners to especially identify which one they're working with. So what we can do here is select the bones here in this, in this menu, and you can kind of see the weight, the strength that each bone has. Like, so the so it goes from like like cool like this to like all the way to red. So like goes from like cool colors to warm colors. So the closer it's to warm colors, the more effect it has, which I'll show here in a second. So we have bone 4 selected. That's this one. So because you can't select bones here, you just need to select it through here. And then you have your kind of paint brush. This is your paint brush based on radius. You can choose how much weight you want it to apply, the radius of it. So now our paintbrush is bigger, and the strength, how strong it applies. So like right there, look how strong that kind of applies. Now that one is gonna like move a lot when we move the bone, that portion of it. Just being really slow. As you can see, we just paint it, and so we painted this side, right? So we paint this side. Now let's go check it out. Actually, let's go to object mode, select the bones, go object mode again, so here, and then pose mode. So I believe we painted this side. So if we go rotate, and we'll rotate on the y-axis, as you can see, that one it moves a lot. This one not as much. Um, Let me get it from a different angle. Y-axis, yeah. You can see this one moves pretty smoothly, but this one moves way more aggressively. And so that's kind of the idea, is that you can apply different weights, and that'll affect how how much it moves, that's probably, yeah. The, oh, I guess I applied it this side, didn't I? Okay, that's probably whichever side's like kind of folding quicker. That's probably where a lot of weight has been applied. Um, and how much of that is like so the bone, it'll like kind of control how much, where the effect is. So like up until this part or whatever. So that's ideally what we do with weight paint. Um, so yeah, I believe that's it for showing the kind of adding a bone to a mesh part. Um, yeah, let me check. Right, that's it for adding bones to a mesh. One final little, tip or whatever I'd like to show is we'll actually start a new, file. Go here, delete this. So now I would like to kind of show a quick capability with the bones, and that is, if you want to make like hands and you're gonna have like, what do you say, your like fingers attached to it. Sometimes they might be floating or something. Depends on how you have it made. But then you still want it parented, but have it move along with the main parent, right? So that's kind of what I'm gonna show here. Uh, so we'll go to edit mode. We'll extrude this out in the Z, something like that. So right now, if you go to pose mode, you know, moves with this. So this can be like the bone that's the main part of the hand, and then this can be like one finger. Um, so like the whole thing moves. But then maybe the way you have it made, you want this bone to be separated but still parented to it. Um, and how you do that is, let's go back into edit mode, and I believe if we select them both, right click, parent, one second. Should be able to, we need to disconnect the bones, like clear the parenting and disconnect the bones. Um, so we're gonna select this one, and then we're gonna parent, clear, disconnect bones. Did that work? No. Is it okay? Parent, clear. No. Is it this way? Sometimes this very important in Blender is which way you select items. That kind of is important, and that'll affect how what kind of action happens. Let's see. Parent clear. One second. All right. I disconnected. Let's see. Oh, okay. It had been disconnected. I just didn't realize. Let's see. All right. There we go. So now it's disconnected. Now this is moving separately, and this is moving separately. This is rotating separately. I believe that should be the same. Well, I guess when here you move it, it's gonna move like that. Um, yeah. But then, let's see, parent, and then you select like this, parent, make, no. Okay, there we go. So now you reparent it. So basically the idea is that, the bone is attached. You make a new bone, it's attached, and then you clear the parenting between them, and then you reparent it, but this time you keep the offset. So now that way, let's say we make, I made this the parent, and so this will be like the part of the bone attached to the hand, and then this will be like the finger. So then you can have the thing move, separately. You can work with it, but then when you move the hand, they still move together. That's basically the idea here. So yeah. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys got a decent idea of how the bones in Blender work. So yep, thank you.